Welcome to your one-stop shop for data science programming powered by businesstrainingai.com.
We have covered data understanding and data massaging and descriptive statistics in different episodes. And now it is time for us to dive into data transformations, feature engineering, and we'll use a min-max rescaling to normalize our data.
We do this because we cannot compare our variables side by side. Luke was very old. Marina had too much debt. Who is a bigger outlier? We can write some descriptions with some key findings and business insights, right? Okay, so then I'm going to go and do a plus code. I want to go and do a code cell in which I will design my next definition. In this case, my definition will be called differently. Let's call this definition min-max. There are different ways of normalizing your data. In our case, we'll be using the min-max rescaler, but there could be standardization like the z-score, like the t-score. In our case, min-max rescaling. So we're going to define a min-max rescaler, and again, use x as our function input. What we will do is create a min-max variable equal to, and this is where I'm going to just give you the formula here. We should go to Mentimeter to learn what it does, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to give you the formula here. And it's really easy, as you will see in a moment. I need to create a ratio. So it's numerator divided by denominator. In the numerator, I'm going to take my data x. I called it x. See, the function input is x. My data is x. And I will subtract the numpy.min of x. I am subtracting the minimum value of x. NP stands for numpy, right? Because we need numpy function. So min of x and in my denominator, I'm going to say, give me the maximum value of x and subtract the minimum value of x. Who knows here, what will the max of x minus the min of x give us? What is it going to give us? That's going to give us what? Marina?
Range. Is it the range?
Yes, the range of data. Fantastic, right? The range of data. So again, you guys all know min-max. This is not rocket science, right? And what I will do now is return min max var. And we're kind of done. Let's call this user-defined function min underscore max. Okay. And our x will be equal to my df, square brackets, checking duration, amount, age, checking, sorry, not purpose, checking. All right, now what I want to do is copy paste this code for all 4 variables. Checking, then we had duration, then we had amount, and then we had age. Now, let's run this code. It'll print us actually, we should be, I don't want to use the print function because I want to do something else with you, but let's run this chunk of code as is. And take a look at the age. The age suddenly looks different. The age suddenly looks different. For the first customer, the age is 0.85. What does that mean? Because there are no more years. There are no more business units here, right? I can't say that the first client is 0.85 years old. Makes no sense. The interpretation here is that for the first client, we are kind of an outlier. Pretty close. It's a concept pretty close to percentiles because our data right now is from 0 to 1. The range of our data right now is from 0 to 1. So our person here is pretty close to the maximum outlier. This first person is pretty old. Now, the second person here is the opposite. The person here is also an outlier, but this person is pretty young. How about this person? This person is kind of in the middle, 0.5, 0.5. So this person is our typical client, right? But see how hard it is to drive business insights here? We don't have any more business units. There is no more concept of years and age, but we can clearly say outlier, outlier, this outlier is older, this outlier is young, and this guy or gal is in the middle. Same thing here. This gal or guy is in the middle. Definitely an outlier, very young person, right? Less obvious, but also an outlier, right? Pretty young people at the end of the data. Okay. So and then let me show you the amount. Let me show you how the data looks like for the amount. Here's for the amount. Well, gosh, wait a second. Can I drive business insights from these amounts? The first person has an amount of 0.05. There are no more euros here. There are no more euros here. This is all unitless. This data here is unitless. What does that mean? Again, it was normalized from units like we have discussed before. 4 months, 72 months, 19 years, 75 years, 250 euros, 18,000 euros. We don't have any more business units because look, the amount which ranged from 250 euros to 18,000 euros suddenly becomes 0.05, 0.31, 0.1, 0.42, 0.25. What does that mean? What does that mean? There are no more euros. Normalization, standardization removes the notion of business units. So very hard to drive business value. But is this one here an outlier? Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Is the first person an outlier? Of course. Is this person here at the end of my data an outlier? Of course. But let me ask you a different question. How about this person here, the fourth client, 0.42? Is this person an outlier? No, because this person is close to 0.5, 0.5 being the middle of my data. So no, this person is not an outlier. This person is typical. I'm driving different business insights. No more can I talk about euros. I am now talking outliers and typical people and typical clients.